Hello, welcome to the Aware Show's Money and Manifestation Summit. We are talking on the summit about creating money from the inside out. I think creating money is a bit of an inside job. Yes, it appears to come from outside sources, which it does, but what you really do, what we're learning at least, is that it is created with your belief systems and clearing blocks and your willingness and havingness to be able to receive money. There's so many different aspects to it. So today we are joined by EFT master Carol Look, who is also a hypnotherapist, which is amazing. And she was also a clinical social worker and a clinical hypnotherapist. So she has worked with clients for over 18 years on various issues. She's heard so many things that she's able to identify quickly people's limiting beliefs, and just her knowledge around blocks is so helpful when it comes to using this very, very effective tool called EFT. So welcome. Thank you for joining me, Carol.
Hi, Lisa. What a pleasure to be with you.
You too. Let me ask you a question. When you started off in hypnotherapy and as a social worker, where did you find EFT and how did you find it in the beginning?
So I started as a traditional psychotherapist, then got into hypnosis because I think the brain is fascinating when you learn about the left brain and the right brain and how they work together. And somebody in my graduating class of hypnosis said, if you think that's exciting, you need to try this strange new tapping technique. I said, what are you talking about? And they said, you tap on acupuncture points while you're focused on your issue, and you clean out the meridians, you clean out what's going on.
Sorry about that. And an alarm go off on the left side of my... Okay, so you're tapping on these meridian points, and it starts to loosen up the, yes. What, frequencies?
The circuitry. So you have this circuitry. I live in New York, and I say it's like when you have gridlock here, if one street is blocked off, the next street is blocked off, and the next one becomes blocked, and you can't go up or down. And we have this very intricate connection of circuits or pathways. And when there's a blockage in those pathways, then what happens is you have symptoms. So you might have anxiety, or you might have cravings, or you might have trouble sleeping, or you might, have beliefs that are going on, and they block the smooth flow of qi. That's what the Chinese medicine doctors call it, qi or energy, through this system. And you must have a clean, clear system in order to be at your best with health, relationships, love, money, professionalism, everything. So we clean out the circuitry.
It's a great analogy. Isn't it amazing how much we are learning about the body? And we have these amazing tools, this body, this mind body, that we are learning how to optimize. It's one of the cool things I love about what you do and what we talk about in the Aware Show is we're optimizing the functionality of what we've had for so long, just learning more about how to perfect it. It's kind of cool. It's all the mind. Yeah. So today, in the context of money, would you say that this is one of the main complaints that people come to you with?
Well, they come to me and say, I'm stuck with money. I can't get ahead. Whenever I get money in, the bills are bigger, than the cash flow. And they're very frustrated. They're confused. They don't know what to do. They've learned the way I learned as a kid, you're supposed to work harder. And we soon find out that's not working. Working harder does not make more money come in. So that's how we then walk down the path to say, what's in your way? If money is available, abundance is available, abundance is a vibration, how do we access financial abundance? How do we manifest money into our lives without having to just increase the number of hours we work per week?
So what do you mean abundance is a vibration?
So when people get hooked on the topic of money, they tend to get restricted. And when you understand that abundance is a frequency or a vibration, like it's joy, it's about your consciousness and being optimistic and passionate, that raises your vibration, and when you raise your vibration, you're able to attract whatever you want, including money. And that's what was so fun for me, is that apparently I was doing it the wrong way for years and years because that's how I was taught. Money is stressful. Money's not going to come in. You've got to double your workload. I didn't get it until I started to figure out there are other ways to do it. And when you change your consciousness and release the fears and the feelings and the beliefs that are blocking you, then money comes in like everything else quite easily and quite abundantly. So that was the lesson for me. That's how I got into it, is I worked on I was my first guinea pig.
Yep. And what did you do?
It was a wow. It was a wow. Well, what I did is I started working on these fears, feelings, and beliefs and comfort zones, like what am I not comfortable with making, and I just knocked them down one at a time. One at a time, get rid of this fear about success, this fear of failure, get rid of the hurt, get rid of the fear of people's envy, get rid of the fear of people's jealousy, get rid of I can only make this much because whatever your because is. So I just worked on it systematically, and quite quickly I could feel and see, and then of course the checks, the actual money was coming in. The change was so dramatic that it actually scared me. I thought, uh-oh, what's going on here? And then I kept doing it. I had to keep doing it for every level. And I stopped counting after however many hundreds of percentages my income went up.
Nice.
I just released the beliefs that said I couldn't. The fears that said you're not supposed to. The concerns, the worries, the big block people have is I don't want to stand out and I don't want to rock the boat. Yep. I had to get rid of those inside of me, or else I couldn't be congruent with financial success.
Yes.
It's really standing out. So it was a lot of work on me very, very quickly, but I had, I just went through each of the sequences and tried to work on what I thought might be in my way. Everybody's a little different, but they usually fall into the categories of fear of success, I want to rock the boat, fear of failure, if I take a risk, what's going to happen?
Right. So we're going to talk today about, and everyone on this call is going to play along, okay? If this is the first time you've done tapping, if this is the 9 millionth time you've done tapping, we're all going to play a game, kind of up-leveling your financial situation, whatever that means to you. So wherever you are now, we're going to work on tapping here to get to the next level. It could be, now we have to be clear on what it is for each one of us, right? Carol, it has to do with clarity, right?
Yes. You want to be very clear when you choose a target to aim the tapping at. Are we talking about a fear of success, fear of shining, or are we talking about getting comfortable with a dollar amount? So if I asked everybody to double their salary, most people would go, ooh, they would feel uptight physically. And they would know that they feel stressed out about the thought of doubling their income, even though they say they want to.
Okay.
Part of the process is figuring out what is the issue.
So when I said going to the next level financially, everyone right now should choose what that means to them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So picture, think of and picture the number. What is that? Adding 20,000, adding 50,000, doubling. What is the number? And feel it, get into it, and you're going to feel a spike in your body that basically says, no, that's not safe, even though you think you want it. There's going to be a restriction in your body, and that's your energy system saying, don't go there.
Okay, so first thing that came up for me, and I know it's individual for everyone, but it's, I don't know how to get there. How? Who do I have as a model of how to get there? That's what comes up for me. Is that a valid block you're talking about?
Absolutely. So you believe you can't get there because you don't know how, and that's the restriction that came up for you. How high was the restriction? That's a belief. I can't because I don't know how.
Right.
How high was that? We always measure our targets on the 0 to 10 point scale. We try to measure the stress that a topic brings up, because then we tap while you're talking about the stress, and that brings the stress level down.
So I just got an email before this show, as a matter of fact, about investing in something, and I thought to myself, wow, that'd be so great if I had extra money to invest, to diversify what it is that I do. And that was my block. That was my clear block. Like, I don't know how to get to the next level to be able to even have the option to invest. Okay?
Yes.
So how to get to the next level. And that, for me, lit me up. That was about, I mean, I have no reference, Carol, on how to get to that next level. So what would you consider that?
So we either would call it a belief, I'm convinced I can't get there because I don't know how, or just measure the distress of help, I don't know how. You can measure a feeling or a belief.
Okay. So the last time my husband and I invested in something, it went horribly south.
Okay, you just gave me new information, which is that there's an old trauma with a little t. There's an old trauma that's operating there. Right?
Completely. Yep, that just flew in. Okay.
So when you think of the old trauma, the last time you two invested and it went wrong, 0 to 10, how upset are you?
Oh my God, that was a 10.
Okay, you're a 10 now. It was a while ago, but you're a 10 right now when you remember it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that 10, the topic is causing you to have your energy system get completely scrambled.
Completely going there. Yep.
And other people listening, when they thought of up-leveling and thought of a number, they got completely scrambled. So just everybody get your number and tap along, and even if the words aren't exactly right, like I'm going to work on this trauma for you, Lisa, what happened?
Thank you.
A lot of people are going to be surprised by what comes up and what gets released.
Okay. It was with that whole housing thing crash.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you feel it in your body.
Oh yeah, and the memories are coming up pretty strong. Yeah, that was a mess.
Should we do an exercise? Release that right away?
Oh, just leave me here, yes.
Okay. Now, I just want to say one thing to everybody that they may not understand. The tapping relieves your fears, your feelings, and your beliefs. And that is what is in the way of attracting and manifesting money. The economy is not the problem. Your boss is not the problem. What the problem is these fears or old traumas or old experiences or experiences of when someone judged you because you were doing well. That's what's in our consciousness, and that's what gets in the way, and that's what we're clearing by tapping on acupuncture points.
Okay.
Make sure that's clear. Okay, so Lisa, you're a 10. No doubts, lots of things coming up. I'm going to use kind of broad language. Other people might think of a little trauma like that around an investment, around money, around bills, around the mortgage payment, around a divorce, whenever something happens. So we start here, Lisa. We start on what's called the karate chop point. We have one on both hands. I'm right-handed, so I take my right hand and I tap on my left hand karate chop point. And here, what we're trying to do is reduce the resistance to working on the problem. So we do very simple statements. They've been doing this in the tapping world for 30 years, okay? So just repeat after me. Even though I have these negative memories.
Even though I have these negative memories.
And this old trauma about that investment.
And this old trauma about that investment.
It's really affecting my money mindset.
It's really affecting my money mindset.
I deeply and completely accept that I have these feelings.
I deeply and completely accept that I have these feelings.
Even though I didn't realize I was traumatized by that old money story.
Even though I didn't realize I was traumatized by that old money story.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Even though I'm shocked at how much it's still with me.
Even though I'm shocked by how much it's still with me.
No wonder I have money issues right now.
No wonder I have money issues right now.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Okay, so we do that 3 times. Say a sentence that says, even though I have this problem, I'm okay, I accept myself, I'm doing the best I can. And that reduces resistance, so your system is more open to releasing the fears or feelings that are in your body and mind and spirit. Okay?
I had something interesting when you were saying that there's a difference between the money problem and my feelings about myself. The way you said it helped me separate the two. That was nice.
Okay, so take 2 fingers of your dominant hand. When we start tapping on these acupuncture points, they're very special. They're at the end points of the meridians, which are the lines or the circuits. So they're very easy to access. That's how the first people came up with them. It's, they're meridians all over your body, but these are the most accessible ones. So while we're tapping on these points, we just name the problem. And people say, what? I have to talk about the problem? Yes, you do, because it is running. It's a program that's running in you and in your mind 24/7. You just don't know it.
Okay.
But that's why you're blocking money coming in. That's why you're not manifesting, because your consciousness has got these little road bumps all over the place. So 2 fingers right here. The first spot is called the eyebrow point. It's the beginning of the hair of either eyebrow. And you tap there and you say, this old trauma is blocking me.
This old trauma is blocking me.
The next point is called the side of the eye right here. This old trauma is getting in my way of manifesting money.
This old trauma is getting in my way of manifesting money.
Next point is under the eye, so either eye. This old trauma is really confusing my money mindset.
This old trauma is really confusing my money mindset.
Next point is under the nose, right on your upper lip. I didn't know I was still traumatized by what happened.
I didn't know I was so traumatized by what happened.
Next point is called the chin point. We tap right here. I'm still traumatized, and I feel terrible about it.
I'm still traumatized, and I feel terrible about it.
Next point, under one of these funny little knobs called your collarbone point, so you can do that side, this side, or just the whole thing like that with your hand. Then just say, I made such a mistake.
I made such a mistake.
And I still feel guilty.
And I still feel guilty.
The next point is under your armpit, about 4 inches below, right across from your chest. Just tap there. And just say, I have all these feelings about what happened.
I have all these feelings about what happened.
Top of the head is the last point around in a circle up there. But I thought they were in the past.
But I thought they were in the past.
But clearly it's still bothering me.
Clearly it's still bothering me.
Good. Then you take a deep breath through your nose and out your mouth. It just helps continue to move the energy.
Okay.
Then what we do is we go back to the same picture, image, or memory that got you your number and measure it again. So when you're thinking about that now, the same thing. Don't switch topics. How are you on that, we'll call it a money trauma.
That is amazing. It's like very distant. Oh, it's far away from me now. It's like a 4. 4 keeps coming up in my mind. Mm-hmm.
So 10 to a 4 in 60 seconds. Okay?
Wow.
And again, what I need to say to people is it's your consciousness and these old fears, feelings, and beliefs, and someone's going to be mad at me, someone's going to judge me, I'm going to make a mistake again. That is what is restricting your ability to receive, allow, and access these channels of financial abundance that are all over the place.
Can we keep going? Can I actually get it to a 0?
Yes. I don't know if that'll take 1 more round or 2 more or 3 more, but absolutely. But a 10 to a 4, just let me say, some people, when they went back, everybody go back and check your own issue, if it was different than Lisa's or something else. Even if you went from a 10 to an 8 or an 8 to a 6, 2 points on your vibrational scale is a huge deal. Don't discount it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do it again. This will be good practice for everybody.
Yeah.
Even though I still have these negative memories about the money trauma,
even though I still have these negative memories about the money trauma,
my investment trauma,
I
deeply and completely accept myself.
I deeply and completely accept myself.
Even though I had no idea those old money programs were running,
even though I had no idea those old money programs were running,
I accept who I am and that I'm healing now.
I accept who I am and that I'm healing now.
Even though I didn't know I had so many old emotions around money.
Even though I didn't know I had so many old emotions around money.
And so many fears.
And so many fears.
So much guilt.
And so much guilt.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Now, in the beginning, people would say the exact same statement 3 times. That's fine, you'll get somewhere, but it's just a little boring, and I'm just telling you, I'm telling your story, or what I think your story is, a little bit more, with more complexity, that's all.
Okay.
So you can do the 3 statements here exactly the same, or you can switch them up the way I do. So 2 fingers, dominant hand on your eyebrow point, start there again.
Okay.
This old trauma.
This old money trauma.
Side of the eye. I didn't realize how much it was blocking me.
I didn't realize how much it was blocking me.
Under the eye, no wonder I'm having trouble manifesting.
No wonder I'm having trouble manifesting.
Under the nose, this old trauma was in my way.
This old trauma was in my way.
This old frequency of fear was in my way.
This old frequency of fear was in my way.
Collarbone, and I didn't even know it.
and I didn't even know it.
Under the arm. I choose to release it now.
I choose to release it now.
Because I want to be really open to receiving money.
Because I want to be really open to receiving money.
Good. Take a breath.
Yeah. Now I want to say things like wow. Okay, processing.
Good. Good. Let yourself process and see if you can get a number. The number is just to help the person say, yes, you were on track and it's working, or no, we need to tweak the language. That's all. So see if it went down below a 4, and remember, a 4 is awesome. If you want to keep going, great. You do not have to get anything to a 0. You can.
My daughter says buffering.
Oh, okay, she's got you.
I'm buffering. I went beyond the problem into all the different ways that it was blocking me into, I can do this now. So it must have gone to a 0. Because I went beyond it, beyond it's no longer a problem because there is only solution.
Awesome. So what people do is they don't realize that the garbage, the negativity, the hurt, the limiting beliefs are right up to here, and they keep trying to do positive thinking or positive this, and they don't realize there's no room for it. Those people will. I don't want to mention that it's behind, that you've turned your back on. It's right there. So if you focus on it very short periods of time, drop that energy frequency about the negativity, then you have room for you to be brilliant, to be resourceful, to say, hey, I can do this, and yeah, we made a mistake, and now I'm going to forgive myself, and we've moved on. Instead of, I'll never forgive myself for making a mistake about money. Most people have at least one doozy of a money mistake that their family made, that their neighbor made, that they made as a child, their parents made, or that they've made in their adult life. Most people, if you say, do you have a trauma around money? They'll say, oops, how did you know, is what they'll say.
Yeah, my parents did too. They had a trauma around an investment. Now that you say that, I remember that. Yep.
You do remember it. You remember it in every cell of your body, which is why we can't just fix these problems with our mind. We need to go into the cellular energy of the body and release it.
Wow.
And that's what we're doing with the tapping. We're accessing the energy rather than just talking about it. And it's not just our physical system. It's everything. It's the electricity and the energy that we all have. Every human being has an energy system. And that's where we lodge all our traumas, all our fears, all our, I can't stand out, I should be under the radar, don't make me look good, someone's going to be mad at me. That's where it all gets stored.
Interesting. Very interesting. So now I could even go back towards looking at that email without any judgment.
Look at it as a prop and see what does come up.
Yeah.
You get excited. Are you afraid? Is there something else that comes up? If there's another issue that comes up, then that becomes your new target to tap on.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go after an email to make an investment. I would just maybe now start looking in the direction or ask friends or see, what they have diversified in or just get into the conversation. I don't know anything about it, but I am totally willing to learn. That's where I'm at. I'm willing to learn now. Yes.
See, that's another good point, is that people are offered opportunities, and because of their old feelings, fears, or beliefs, they freeze. So they read an email and they either say no, no way, or they completely blank over.
Yep.
And when you release all the old stuff around money, around investments, around who do I think I am to be successful, when you can release all that, then your brain is back online and you start thinking straight. I don't think this is the right investment for me, or I need to pursue this and do some due diligence and keep going. But when you freeze because you're scared, your brain completely gone. You are not thinking like a normal human being, and it's just fear. But it's how our brains work. So this is a way to free up all those frozen blocks of ice in the brain around the topic of money, around manifestation, around success. What does that mean to you? So it has been a life changer for me, certainly, but for all my clients as well. So
okay, so let's go after the success one, about that fear of shining too bright. You cover that a lot in this the offer that you have here, and it's incredible. The program here on clearing your fear of success and letting yourself shine, if people go to the website, which is theawareshow.com/look, L-O-O-K, you'll be able to see there's an incredible recording. I mean, how long did it take you to do that course? That was incredible.
It was a really fun course because my energy, I was totally in it. The course itself is about 4 hours. I did some meditations, I did the tapping technique, I cover all these topics, and I had so much fun with it. It was like, boop, it just happened very quickly, but it has been a topic that has been dear to my heart because I was afraid of trying. I was afraid to get out there. And I had to do, as usual, I'm my first guinea pig every time, but it was a really fun program to do. So fear of success, many people, Lisa, they always think they have fear of failure only, and they don't think they have fear of success, but most people do. Most people have a little bit of both.
So this would be a fear of shining, right? So success and shining are kind of the same thing. Is that what you're saying?
Standing out, because when you're successful, you are going to stand out with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues. What's going to happen when your book gets published and your best friend's book does not? You're standing out, you're shining, you're doing well, and a friend or a colleague or a spouse or somebody in your life doesn't feel as successful. That's when you start to rock the boat.
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
Yep. So what we do, so again, remember step 1, choose a target that's really clear. In this case, the target is easy. I'm afraid of success. But what you need to do is picture, what does that mean? Again, are we talking about having $100,000 come into your life? Are we talking about doubling your income? Are we talking about getting your book published? What are you talking about when we'll just use the words, I'm afraid of success, but everybody listening and watching, be specific. What does that mean to you? Does it mean I'm afraid of standing out? I'd rather play and stay under the radar. Just think, what is it for you where you are at your best, you're most successful? What's it going to look like? And then you can measure accurately the 0 to 10 point stress meter. How high are you? Are you an 8? Are you a 6? Are you a 9? Where are you when you say, I'm afraid of success? A lot of people are surprised how high it is when they focus on it.
Totally. So I'm not going to give my number. I want people to have this experience and come up with your own number. Is that okay?
Yes, totally. So all you do to be very accurate, say it out loud. I'm afraid of success. Zing, measure in your body, 0 to 10. What does it feel like? And then see if you can get a picture of what that looks like or who's going to be upset with you. See if you can get a little more specific. And then we do the same thing. And again, the point, let's say you're afraid of success and you say, I'm about a 7 or an 8 on that 0 to 10 point scale. If you move that even a couple of points, your behavior will be different. Yeah. And this is what we were all taught, that to change our behavior first, and that is incorrect. I didn't know I was being taught the wrong stuff. You can't change your behavior first. You need to change your energy system and your frequency first. So get that 7 down to a 5, get the 8 down to a 4. Any amount of movement, your frequency changes, your vibration changes, and then opportunities come along, serendipities come along. It's amazing what happens. This is when people write me and say, okay, you're not going to believe this. Well, after 18 years of tapping, I believe I believe a lot of what you tell me. It's so exciting. So, okay, so our target, fear of success, everybody has their number.
Okay.
We start here at the karate chop point. Even though I'm afraid of success.
Even though I'm afraid of success.
I think I'm going to rock their boat.
I think I'm going to rock their boat.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Even though I didn't know I was so afraid of success.
Even though I didn't know I was so afraid of success.
I deeply and completely accept my feelings.
I deeply and completely accept my feelings.
Even though my fear of success has been blocking me.
Even though my fear of success has been blocking me.
Now I get that.
Now I get that.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Good. 2 fingers over your dominant hand, eyebrow point. I have this huge fear of success.
I have this huge fear of success.
Side of the eye, and I've been letting it block me.
And I've been letting it block me.
Under the eye, this fear of success.
This fear of success.
Under the nose, I'm so afraid I'm going to hurt someone.
I'm so afraid I'm going to hurt someone.
Or they're going to be jealous of me.
Or they're going to be jealous of me.
Collarbone, no wonder I put a lid on it.
No wonder I put a lid on it.
Under the arm, I'm afraid to shine.
I'm afraid to shine.
I'm not sure what's going to happen if I start to shine.
I'm not sure what's going to happen if I start to shine.
Good, take a breath. And again, beginning EFT, you say, I'm afraid to shine. I'm afraid to shine. I'm afraid to shine.
Okay.
It's just boring, right? We just want to get a little bit more of the story in there, make suggestions, ask questions, see what you think. So then you'd go back to the same number you had, the same image you had that gave you the 7, 8, 9, 10. Measure again and say, really look around and feel around for it and say, where am I now on that fear of rocking the boat, the fear of shining? And then even if it's gone down 1 or 2 points or 5 or 10 points, do it again, right? So let's just go right back. We'll skip the hand this time, go right here. I'm still afraid of shining.
I'm still afraid of shining.
Side of the eye. I don't feel safe standing out.
I don't feel safe standing out.
Under the eye, I'm afraid something bad could happen.
I'm afraid something bad could happen.
Under the nose, what if they're jealous?
What if they're jealous?
I didn't know I was so afraid of my own success.
I didn't know I was so afraid of my own success.
But I've really been blocking my success.
But I've really, really been blocking my success.
Under the arm, but I really, really want to shine.
I really want to shine.
Because I think it would be good for everybody.
I think it would be good for everyone.
Breath again. So you just go around, measure, and then oftentimes another issue comes up that's related, but maybe feels bigger. So people say, well, why don't you get to a 0 on the first one? If you get down to a 3 and an 8 comes up, another memory, another fear, another concern,
right,
you cannot pay attention to the 3.
Okay.
Right? You've got to go to the 8. You've got to go to the last time I was successful, my coworker yelled at me or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to go to the bigger one. So that's why don't worry about the lower numbers. Go ahead and get it to 0 if you want. But don't waste time chasing a 0 when you're down to a 3 or a 2 or a 1, you are going to be completely different. You're going to be different at dinner tonight, right? So
no matter what, right? That's great. There's one of the things that I caught in the Clear Your Fear of Success and Let Yourself Shine recording about the downsides of success. What are some of those things that you're going to sacrifice or time or those types?
That's what I say to people when they say, I'm stuck or I can't get anywhere or I procrastinate or something's going on. I just ask very simple questions and say, you're coming to me saying you want success. What is a downside of getting what you want? And at first they say, there's no downside. And then they say, oh, yes, there is. I'm afraid of standing out. I'm afraid if I'm successful, I'll have to give up private time with my family. I'm afraid if I'm successful, I'll be so busy, I won't have a life anymore, all of which are beliefs. But if you don't clear those fears, you will actually sabotage. Most people come to me and say, I did it again. I think I'm sabotaging. I can't get to where I want to get to. And very clearly, we get to the real reason for them, which is, I say I want it, but the truth is there's a downside. If I actually get my website done and start my business, people can reject it. If I actually get my business cards done, people won't call me. If I actually shine and succeed and get my book done, someone's going to be jealous and they're going to say something nasty. So if you can answer the question, what would be the downside of getting what you want, then that's your target. That's what you need to work on. And what people usually do is they're working on the wrong thing.
Aha. Okay, there's a question that's coming in here. Let's see here. Address self-sabotage itself. Like, can you actually do that? Can we tap on self-sabotage?
Well, what you need to tap on is not self-sabotage. You need to tap on the why. What's it doing for you to sabotage? So sabotage is protecting us from something, but people come in and they say, oh, I'm such a bad person because I sabotage. No, you're not. You're just trying to protect yourself. So if you find out what you're trying to protect yourself from, so let's say you sabotage by procrastinating. Well, what's the downside of getting that project done? Uh-oh, once I get it done, I can be judged. Aha, now you know why you're sabotaging. So it's a little bit too general to say, even though I'm sabotaging, you want to get to the fear.
Okay.
Sabotaging, what's it doing for you? What's the upside of sabotage? And people at first say, don't be silly, there's no upside. Well, of course there is, or else you wouldn't be doing it.
What do you mean? Like, what would an upside be?
You would not sabotage yourself unless it was doing something positive for you, like protecting you from getting known or out there or being successful, or it keeps you from being judged. If you sabotage yourself, you'll never be judged because you're never out there.
Right.
So that's the flip side.
Too big.
Yeah, flip side of the question, what's the downside of getting what you want, and what's the upside of blocking yourself? And people say there are always several upsides to blocking yourself.
Interesting.
I don't want to make a mistake again. The word again is very, very powerful. Like you're saying about the investment. You know, we brought it up and you said, oh, whoa.
Right, which I had no idea. Well, the downside of success would be having to work harder, having to do more work, make more phone calls, do more hours, right?
Only if that's your belief.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So if that's your belief that being more successful will take away time from your family and you'll have to make double the phone calls, but that is simply a belief, but that is why you would block yourself from blossoming even more.
Yes.
You're convinced
Okay, so maybe we could tap on that. I think this is great because this is a whole interactive show today. We get to tap along with you, and I love this because it gives people a sample of what it is that you do. And the offer, of course, takes it to the absolute next level. If you're noticing that you're starting to shift here, even just tapping alone allows you to relax, it drops your blood pressure, you get a chance for your immune system to get boosted. There's a lot of things that happens with the meridian therapy or whatever you want to call it. So you're getting those benefits. That's great. But if you really want to take it to the next level, then there are hours and specific points here, specific pain points and belief systems that you get to really eradicate in the offer. It's very, very, very powerful work, especially by someone who's been doing it as long as Carol has and has perfected it in her own way. So, okay, we were talking about, what was that, the sabotage? Okay.
Sabotage. So again, you back into the behavior. So if your behavior is sabotage, why are you doing it? It protects you because you feel unsafe being successful.
Okay.
So great one. If we could use that as the target. I feel unsafe when I think of being successful. 0 to 10, how high is that? How high is that belief? How strong is that? I feel unsafe, like you feel a little scared being so successful. Therefore, ... you end up engaging in sabotage behavior. So that's how you do it. So we'll do this. So everybody gets your number, right? I don't feel safe, or I feel unsafe when I think of myself being successful. Even though I sabotage myself.
Even though I sabotage myself.
Because I don't really want to be that successful.
Because I don't really want to be that successful.
Because I'm afraid it's going to take away from my life.
I'm afraid it's going to take away from my life.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself.
I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself.
Even though I've been sabotaging because of all my fear.
Even though I've been sabotaging because of all my fear.
And my safety issues.
And my safety issues.
I accept who I am and that I've been doing the best I can.
I accept who I am and I've been doing the best that I can.
Even though I have safety issues around success.
Even though I have safety issues around success.
And around standing out.
And around standing out.
I accept who I am.
I accept who I am.
How I feel.
How I feel.
Eyebrow point. I'm afraid to stand out.
I'm afraid to stand out.
It doesn't feel safe.
It doesn't feel safe.
Under the eye. No wonder I keep sabotaging.
No wonder I keep sabotaging.
I'm afraid to stand out.
I'm afraid to stand out.
I don't really want to shine.
I don't really want to shine.
Collarbone, because what if it's dangerous?
Because what if it's dangerous?
Under the arm. Don't you remember what happened the last time?
Don't you remember what happened the last time?
No wonder I sabotage myself.
No wonder I sabotage myself.
Let's go around again. I forgive myself for sabotaging.
I forgive myself for sabotaging.
Side of the eye. I'm just trying to stay safe.
I'm just trying to stay safe.
I understand it now.
I understand it now.
And I can let go of the sabotage.
And I can let go of the sabotage.
Because I'm releasing my fear.
Because I'm releasing.
And I feel better already.
And I feel better already.
I'm ready to receive more abundance and money.
I'm ready to receive more abundance of money.
No wonder I've been blocking my manifestation process.
No wonder I've been blocking my manifestation process.
Take another breath. So we're just telling a story. We're just using feelings, fears, beliefs, and saying, oh, of course that's why I've been getting in my own way. I'm afraid. Of course I've been sabotaging, but what people do is they come in and all they do is criticize themselves for sabotaging, and you get nowhere. You want to get nowhere. It's like criticizing your body so that you can go to the gym. It's not going to work. It does not. It does not get you motivated.
No, I've tried that. It doesn't work.
Why?
Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to go back to questions here. Let's see here. How do I identify my issues with money? Nothing specific is coming up, but I know there must be something because I have trouble paying my bills on time. How would you identify it?
Okay, so in the Energy of Money program, some of this is there. Put the bills on the table. Feel the distress inside of your body. Measure it from 0 to 10 and start tapping. Okay, something is going on. Clearly the topic is stirring you up, scrambling your brain, right? So when in doubt, it's a fear. I'm a fear of letting go of money. I'm afraid of letting go of money. I'm afraid of paying the bills. What if nothing else comes in? Ask yourself those questions. You know, where did I learn that money was dangerous? Where did I learn that money had negative feelings about it? Ask yourself, what did your mother think about money and what did your father think about money? I got very, very mixed messages growing up. Not only was money completely stress-filled, no matter what was going on around money, it was a complete horrible situation. Both my parents had very different views of money, treated it differently, and behaved differently around it. So no wonder I had mixed messages growing up. Right? And I determined I did not want to have that kind of stress. So
right.
Your mother's side of the family and money, your father's side of the family with money, and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Why am I uptight? Or you could even do a tapping, even though the topic of money makes me feel uptight. That would be an awesome one, because when you neutralize your feelings around money, every bill, every purchase, every time you go out to lunch, it's not such a big deal anymore. It's just an exchange, money for services, and it doesn't become so loaded energetically, which messes up your consciousness. Remember, we're trying to expand your consciousness around there is enough, there is plenty, there's enough for you and me and everybody listening and everybody else. So once we can really clean out the consciousness that's got some little bumps in there around money and fears and feelings, hurt, jealousy, loneliness. If you had an experience in your childhood that taught you that wealthy people were, what, fill in the blank, greedy, upset, right?
Yeah.
Anything. If you had any of those, if your parents said anything, that needs to be clear too, because if you think wealthy people are greedy, you're not going to want to become one, so you will sabotage yourself again. So it's when you start to ask the right questions, it's easy, but what happens is people just say, wow, I just have these issues around money, I don't know what they are. Just start tapping. These issues about money, this complicated issue around money, I hate the topic of money. I don't even like it. It makes me anxious. That's
right.
What the Energy of Money, that product is all about, our anxiety and fear around money.
I wanted to ask you about that, well, someone's asking, how do you actually raise your vibration around money? How can you do that? Do we always have to look at the blocks? Or once we have, how do you go the opposite way?
You need to do both. If you want to kind of turbocharge it, you need to do both, which is you need to lower your resistance and raise your vibration. Raising your vibration, don't think of it just in terms of raising your vibration around money. You need to raise your entire vibration and consciousness and level of gratitude and appreciation and optimism and passion and being kind. That is raising your vibration, and that will affect your health, your relationships, and your money life.
So
People get
overall,
they get a little too hooked on the topic of just money. Across the board, raise your frequency and vibration of happiness and joy and healthy interactions with people and being grateful. All of that will raise your vibration about money. But people try to do it without reducing the blocks, and I have found that it doesn't work nearly as quickly or as well. If they're
Interesting,
trying to do
interesting.
positive thinking when they have so many deep fears around money, how could you possibly change it? You're fighting, then you're pushing against and fighting.
Right. So do you have to get all of the issues? I mean, money wasn't talked about very much, and when we were being, raised in the 60s, 70s, it wasn't really, there was no consciousness around conversations of money. Um, how do you think, I mean, do we have to go after every single issue that happened when we were kids in order to really, really clear it?
Not at all. You need to go after the big ones. And basically where I would start is go after your attitude now about money. What's your attitude? Well, there's not enough, Carol. You know there's not enough. That's your attitude and stance around money. Start there. You just happen to bring up a trauma that was a few years ago. So start with, how do you feel about money? What do you mean? There's not enough. You know that. That's your tackleable issue. How do you feel about people who have much, much more than you do? Angry, resentful, jealous. That's your tackleable issue. So start with where you are feeling around success, money, manifestation, and you will make such dramatic changes in your energy system that then that's when the behavior starts to change, opportunities show up, and you'll say, is this a coincidence that I started napping last week and suddenly all these opportunities are coming? Right. It's not a coincidence. It's kind of math. Lower the resistance, raise your vibration, get rid of the fears that are blocked. Fear is blocking you the same way an enormous dump truck in the middle of a street blocks me when I'm in a cab coming up here. It's just the same thing. Fears, they are energetic, but they totally block you as if you're running into a real roadblock. So,
okay, now a question about the we were talking about getting to the next level and moving up in terms of frequencies. Is there a number that you can't achieve? I mean, does it harm you if you go, like, I want to make $1 trillion or I want to win the lottery tomorrow? Does that blow out the brain in any way?
Well, it's not real for you. This is what people do. They say, I want to make $1 million. And I say, how much are you making now? 50,000. Yeah, that's not happening in a week. Okay. That's realistic. So what people do is they make such a leap, they have no feeling and no connection to it. So you're right, it does blow it out. So what you need to do is just go up in increments of $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So if you're making $50,000 now, go up in an increment of 10,000. Can you feel that? Is that okay? Go up 20,000 until the anxiety comes up. Then you tap on that until like 80,000, no problem, till you can get to 100,000. I did this with a group of millionaires, quite dramatic millionaires. They were all making between $2 and $10 million. And I said, you do realize that those of you at $5 million have a block to 10. And they went, you're right, we do, because 5 was enough for them, but they wanted 10. But they couldn't get there because they were blocking it. But when you're making 5, 10 is visible, right? You can actually see that. But if you're making $50,000 or $100,000 a year, don't say $1 million, because you'll go, you will completely tune out. It's a little bit, I do that with weight loss for people. They say, I have 50 pounds to lose, and they picture themselves at 50 pounds lower. There's no feeling about it. Go down in increments of 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and you will hit the feelings that are blocking them.
Great idea. So do you wait till you get there? So say you go up 50,000. Then do you wait till you actually physically see that in your bank account and then do it again? No. Wait
until you feel great about it and feel it's totally believable and doable. And when you say, let's say you you were making 30,000, you went up to 80,000, and when you feel totally relaxed about 80, I can get there, my consciousness can receive that, then do the next 20.
Fascinating.
Then do the next 20. It was a great question, because it does block people when they say, I want to make $1 million. You're not going to get there if you're making 50,000 now. You've got to be realistic, because your brain will reject it, is what happens. Your brain just says, good luck with that one, Carol.
So we don't want that. So, okay, that's great to know. So the offer that Carol put together, which is really great, let me tell you why. If you go to the website, which is theawareshow.com/look, you will see on there these courses that Carol has taught, where she put basically all of her money courses together in one offer, which is so cool. We've got the energy of money, the vibration of abundance, which I want to talk about, clearing your fears of success. All of these are in, and then there's, of course, an introduction to EFT, which is great. You can get familiar with the process if you've never been before. But I feel, and after listening to this, and I just got through item 1, and I've listened to item 3 before, which is really good. That's where you put the bills, you spread the bills out. Yes, that was a really good technique. I feel that if you're going to get this offer, I want you to spend your time with it. I want you to dive into it and really listen and do the tapping, do the exercises. And for a little bit, I got a little blown out by a couple of them, and so I stopped. And then I went back later, and I could hear it all over again because energetically overnight, I worked it all out and then was able to go back the next day and went, oh, I've already cleared that. Next. It was so amazing the way that worked. So I like the fact that I took a little time with it, and I didn't actually, listen to the whole thing at once, even though I wanted to. I'm letting it clear all this stuff again. Allow your subconscious mind to unravel, and you can hear it, the next day in a clear way. It's very powerful, extremely effective work. The entire offer is, which is hours and hours of tapping and clearing and identifying blocks, but it is worth paying attention to.
Well, and it works. So people say, sometimes this is what triggers people's fear. When I tell them it has worked for me so dramatically, I'm at the next level again, and I have to do something about that, right? It works for my clients. It works for the coaching clients. Sometimes they say, uh-oh, this works. Now what?
It's powerful. It's
going to change your conversation with money, your life around money, your beliefs around money, and how much you can tolerate and enjoy coming into your life. So you will manifest. It's going to happen. So if you're ready for that, which you can be, and use the tapping, even the intro, even the free intro I have there, people can change listening to that. It's a very clear example of tapping and clearing. So if you're...
The science basically says that it helps you relax and it makes you more receptive, which you could talk a little bit about around that. I'm sure that science has developed around tapping now, yes?
Yes, they've done some research. In the beginning, nobody did research. The results were so wildly popular and positive. The head people who started it 30 years ago were like, we don't need research. We do need research. And it's starting to come out now. And what they've discovered is that, so anytime I ask you to think about a topic that's stressful, your brain goes into the fight or flight response immediately. So I ask you to think about a money trauma, or I ask you to think about the fear of success. Your brain goes, you open the file, it opens, and then we start tapping, which causes this calming effect on that part of the brain, extinguishes the fight or flight response. Then your brain comes back online, you start thinking straight, and you start saying, wait a minute, maybe I could do this. You start getting creative rather than stuck in just that fearful, deer in the headlights caught.
Right.
So that's what they're discovering, is that the tapping on the acupuncture points is actually calming down your nervous system, your energy system, while you've brought up a file. So I always say to people, it's like opening up a document, a Word document. You can't edit it until you open it. So that's why I say to you, pick a topic that's upsetting or makes you stressed out about money. You open it, and while you're in it, we are editing it by tapping, sending chemicals through the brain and through the body, and relaxing and releasing. So this thing that used to be upsetting no longer bothers you.
Great point. Absolutely great point. And so it benefits you no matter what. And what I also love about this is interactive. You're not just listening passively to a lecture. You're doing the tapping. And don't let your sabotage patterns let you just listen to it. Do the tapping, because not doing it would be sabotaging yourself. So you want to do the tapping and measure the results. Take a couple of, take an overnight between maybe, listen to 2 or 3 of the recordings, sleep on them, go back, re-listen to a couple of them, see if those have cleared, go on to the next ones. You can really, really drill into this program and create massive, massive change. That's guaranteed. You're going to create change. It's weird the way that it works, but it's studied, it's tested, and whatever it is, you're just going to continue to work through your process. But it's very powerful work. I love that you do this.
And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to be able to manage, allow and receive more money, because then you can do a lot with it. I give scholarships to people because I was raised on scholarships. I was one of 4 kids, and we got scholarships everywhere we went. And I'm so grateful for that. I wouldn't be where I was. So that's one of the places I put a lot of extra money. Right? I don't need another car. I don't need another house. I don't need. So do with it what you want.
Yeah.
Right? Enjoy that you have money coming in and that you have flow. Remember, you don't want to be stuck.
Yeah.
You need to pay the bills and have money come in. You need to have it go out and come in. You want the cycle of flow. You don't just want more money so you can have a big bank account. What's the point of that?
Right. No, and I mean, we just went through this whole thing where we moved and we cleared probably 75% of our clutter. I mean, we really purged, which was amazing. And we donated it all and felt so good about it. And I now am recognizing where that junk comes back into the house. I have a particular relative who loves free things. And whenever anything's being gift free, that she brings it into the house. I'm like, we don't need it. We don't need free junk.
Pass it along. Give it away, pass it along, gift it to someone else.
But the interesting thing about that, as I was thinking of, is that is her scarcity story.
Yes.
And that there's not going to be enough, so I have to get this free thing. And it's plastic and junk that, really the planet doesn't need. So I think that, it's just one of those things that I think we should all stop.
Absolutely.
Plastic junk, trinketry, not needed.
You clear out that stuff in your house, and there's room for more beauty, more peace, more stillness, more love. Right? We'll clean out the energy blocks around money, and then you have room for it. You can make room for it, but it's the same. It's like your beliefs are clutter. Your beliefs and fears are actually clutter. They're just not physical, like on your desk or in your car. Yeah.
Right. You said if you clear off your desk and if you don't clear the energy of it, it will pile itself back up again. And that's true. And I collect a lot of books because of what I do. They get sent to me and so forth. And even some of them that are my favorites, I'm not going to read them again. So we have a huge library donation that goes out every single week. And we support all of our local libraries here because I'd rather other people get the information. And that's really, it's a good way of circulating the information out there. And I also love the fact that we do digital products. I got on this soapbox for some reason, but I'm just saying, it was because of the scarcity thing. It feels
and clutter can be physical, or clutter can be in your body, or clutter can be in your relationships, or it can be in your fears and beliefs around money. Clutter is clutter.
Absolutely, absolutely. So someone once said to me if you want to know your financial situation, look at the trunk of your car. Have you ever heard this?
I have.
And if you see if there's stuff scattered everywhere, that's going to be your finances. If it's in one little bucket, that's your finances. And I thought that was interesting. Just once I heard that, I went ahead and got a little container for the back of my car because I had bags everywhere. Put them all in a little container. I just brought that up. Anyway, the point is that you can go in and you can use this entire offer and you can dive into it and spend time with it and actually do the tapping. And then I want to hear from you. I want to see what the changes are that you're creating in your life. I know you hear it all the time, Carol. Somebody email me and let me know what you create because it's really, really rewarding to see that people are making a difference in their lives. Do you hear it all the time?
All the time, and not just money. My favorite story is I was talking to someone on the telephone, and he was so anxious. He was an 8 or a 9, and he said, my business isn't selling. So we're doing a telephone session. I can't sell my business. My wife is mad at me. We're into debt up to our necks. What am I going to do? And we tapped, and his anxiety went down so low, and then he said, excuse me, my other phone is ringing. And it was the lawyer calling saying that he had gotten a bid on his business. And he said, okay, no more skepticism.
Done.
Because he understood that his anxiety was so tight, he wasn't allowing opportunities into his life. It was so funny because he's in the self-help field. It was really funny. He said, got it.
Those types of things that anxiety causes an energetic block, like a wall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sell houses. I've had people sell boat slips. I've had people sell all sorts of clutter and junk from their homes. I've had people have surprising, coincidental checks coming in. Suddenly they get a refund that they knew they weren't going to get. Amazing stories. And opportunities. So don't get too hung up on, did the check come in the mail? What about meeting some fantastic person that turns out to be an opportunity down the road? Really see the appreciation and abundance in people and in interactions and in what could show up in your life that doesn't just have to be hard, cold cash.
Great, great. And then also throughout the Money and Manifestation Summit, if there's an issue that triggers you, you can use tapping on any one of the shows that you're watching in the summit too to help clear issues. Because this is, I mean, this is one of our most successful summits because people have so many issues around money, but mostly because we offer so many practical tools and techniques around it. We're not wishful thinking. We're not pulling money out of the sky here. We're not, you know, tra-la-laing it. We are absolutely digging in with very practical, tried and true tools that will help you budge your money issues out and then increase your happiness for it. So it's really good stuff. Okay, see if I have any more questions. We're actually almost out of time, and I know that you got to go. So, all right. So once again, the website to go to is theawareshow.com/look. Dive in, get the offer, but most importantly, if you're going to get it, I want you to do it, and I want to hear from you because I'm your accountability partner in this. And if you let me know how it's going for you, I can, you know, repeat it back on air or bring in conversations where it has to do this because I want to see your success. I want to see people succeed, and I too want to be successful. So let's do it together, okay? So thank you so much, Carol. I so honor you and your commitment to excellence and making things wonderful and amazing for people, and being able to have this workout is great. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun, and it's an honor to be with you, and having all your community is so exciting. They're so up. You know, they really know what's going on, and to offer this to them, and for me to be so honored to be on this series, I'm happy for them because I know what's going to happen as I listen to the whole series.
Absolutely. Listen to the whole series. You absolutely will shift your money situation. And the one that resonates with you will work for you. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. I appreciate you being on today. And until next time, to my wonderful audience, by the way, I want to say thank you to my amazing crew, to Cliff, who's the engineering, makes everything happen here, to Gina Salvati, executive producer of everything, and Joyce Walker. Thank you so much, Joyce, for making everything happen. And Bo Rinaldi and my entire Aware Show team. I just want to say thank you guys. I honor you and I love you. And also the wonderful, amazing Aware Show audience who's growing by leaps and bounds every single day. So thank you very much to everyone. All right, until next time, I invite you all to stay aware.